Choosing your drawing art supplies doesn't need to be a complicated process. So I'm simplifying your life by sharing the best art advice for the most essential drawing art supplies, so that you can make smart and informed purchasing decisions. Let's start off by talking about graphite pencils. As a beginner, I recommend that you buy a set that has a nice range of graphite grade. For example, let's look at these two sets by the brand Staedtler. The graphite grade is shown here and here. Both of these sets have a range of pencils including HB, 2B, 4B, 6B, 7B, and 8B. The graphite grade is labeled at the bottom of each pencil. B stands for black, meaning the graphite is soft and it's very dark. H stands for hard, meaning the graphite is hard and it appears light or grayish. Different brands offer different types of pencils. This set by Faber-Castell also has 6 pencils, but you'll see that the pencil grade ranges from 2B to 4B, 6B, 8B, 10B, and even 12B. So when you are choosing your first set of pencils, keep in mind what range of graphite you want to work with. You can also buy mechanical pencils to draw and sketch with. I only own one mechanical pencil, and it is this Pentel P205 mechanical pencil in 0.5 millimeter lead. Mechanical pencils are great because you don't have to sharpen them. They have a very pointed tip, and all you have to do is take off the cap, you remove the eraser, and then you add lead into the pencil. One word of caution though is that mechanical pencils are not that great for shading, so if you want to do elaborate drawings with very smooth and dynamic shading, then I recommend that you stick with traditional wooden graphite pencils. Now, the last drawing material that you can use are the Prismacolor Color Erase pencils. They're a fantastic way to add pops of color to your sketchbooks. These pencils are great because they add a lot of vibrant color to your sketchbooks, and they work similarly to graphite pencils insofar that they're very light, they glide nicely across the paper. One of the cool things about these pencils is that they are erasable. Each pencil comes with an eraser at the end to erase the pigment that you lay down. The pencils do not erase 100%, but the erasing takes away about 80 to 90% of the graphite, which I think is pretty amazing. So if you're looking for a fun and vibrant alternative to the traditional graphite pencils, get your hand on some of these Prismacolor Color Erase pencils. Hey friend, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like so that we can help the YouTube algorithm spread this video to more artists. Thank you for your support. Now let's talk about what you're going to draw on. As a beginner, you can't go wrong with a good mixed media sketchbook or with some really good Bristol or vellum drawing paper. So sketchbooks are great for the experimentation and the studies, and paper is really good for anything that is more polished and professional. There are a lot of sketchbooks to choose from. I personally believe that as a beginner, stick with a good mixed media sketchbook because that way you can experiment with both wet and dry medium. This paper is good because it is 98 pounds or 160 grams. That means that the paper is thick. It's got a nice, soft, smooth surface, and anything from graphite to pen and ink to colored pencils work really great on this paper. Sketchbooks that are made specifically for drawing and sketching tend to have thinner paper, so if all you're doing is drawing and doing studies and loose sketches, then that type of sketchbook would be the best for you. If you're a beginner artist, you might be overwhelmed by all the different types of papers that you can buy. So let's make this as simple as possible. When you're looking for paper to draw on, look for a type of paper that has a smooth surface, such as this Bristol paper. When you're looking at paper or sketchbooks in general, make sure that you look for paper that is acid-free. That means that the paper is not going to turn yellow. This paper is heavyweight, so it's great for finished artwork, including pen and ink. If we look down here, it's 100 pounds, so that's a pretty good weight for you to draw on and use mixed media. And this one comes in 9 inches by 12-inch paper. And the really great thing is that each sheet can be torn out, and you can use a ruler or a paper cutter, and you can cut this down to a more manageable size. I created the ultimate guide to drawing to help you get started with drawing with confidence and ease. In this PDF document, I share with you the most important drawing supplies advice to help you make smart and informed purchasing decisions. In addition, I've included a brief introduction to basic pencil techniques and shapes and forms and values to help you learn the basics of drawing. To get your free drawing guide, click the link in the description box below. Now let's take a moment to talk about erasers. Rubber erasers or plastic erasers come in a variety of sizes and shapes. These erasers are pretty good and they will meet all your standard erasing needs, whether you're erasing sketches or writing. However, as a beginner, I also recommend that you get a kneaded eraser. When you buy a kneaded eraser, it usually comes in a package like this. Kneaded erasers are great because you can morph them and knead them into a lot of different shapes. You can flatten them to erase large areas at once. You can roll them until they're long and thin so that you can get a pointed tip for precise erasing. Or you can roll the eraser into a ball and then roll that eraser over any graphite that you want to pick up off of the paper. So as a beginner, I highly recommend that you get one of each eraser and then you're good to go. Now let's discuss sharpeners. On the right here, you see a standard handheld sharpener. It's small and it fits nicely in your hands. There are little grooves that make it easy to hold. However, the plastic nature of this sharpener makes it feel very flimsy and cheap. So if you are going to go for a handheld sharpener, I highly recommend that you get a metal one instead because they're much more robust and durable. Or if you want something that's more versatile, you can get your hand on one of these. This is a dynamic and multi-purpose sharpener by the brand Faber-Castell. When I open it, you'll see that there are 3 slots where you can put pencils. Down here we have 2 different sizes. On the right is a hole that will sharpen any standard pencil, so like your standard graphite pencils. And over here on the left, we have a larger hole that is made for any type of pencil that is bigger. And up here, we have a 3rd option for colored pencils. I really like this type of sharpener because it's so multi-purpose. Now, let's talk about blending tools. I store all of my blending tools in a simple pencil case. If you're a serious beginner and your goal is to create drawings with beautiful shading and blending and layering, then I recommend that you get a set of blending stumps. A blending stump is simply a piece of compressed paper that is then rolled into this shape. Blending stumps come to a point on both ends of the tool. After you lay down graphite, you come in with a blending stump to smooth out and blend the graphite together. Larger blending stumps are great for blending graphite across larger surface areas. The medium blending stumps are great because they're the perfect size to meet most of your typical blending needs. And the small blending stumps have a very fine pointed tip, which is great for blending in any areas where you need tight control and precision. Usually these sets come with sandpaper. To clean your blending stump, all you do is you take the tip of the blending stump and then you run it across the sandpaper. Now let's discuss pen and ink. When you're buying your first set of pens, pay attention to the numbers. These numbers here refer to the nib size. 0.1 means that the nib is very fine, so you're going to get lines that are very thin, very delicate, and they appear light. Pens in the 0.5 or 0.7 range have a bit more weight to them. This means that the nib is bigger and therefore the line work you get will look thicker. Anything that says 1.0 millimeters or higher, then these are the pens that have the biggest nibs. That means your line work will look thicker. Another thing to keep an eye out for are the following characteristics. 1. Is the ink fade resistant or archival, meaning it's not going to fade? 2. Does the ink dry quickly? 3. Is the ink waterproof or water resistant? Now that you have a solid foundation, it's time for you to get started with drawing. The next step is to check out this video. In this video, you learn how to create your very first drawings with confidence and ease. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video.